And I'm back with more Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. But we're finally into the finale. The game known as Trials and Tribulations. Now this is my favorite game of the three. Mostly down to the fact that the main case doesn't just stretch to one. The main case actually stretches 3 separate cases throughout the game, with a couple others sprinkled in the middle part. What it also does is it also weaves Maya Fey, Mia Fey, Pearl Fey, Phoenix Wright, and a new character or two all into the proceedings, but also make everything that made happen in the first and second game make sense. Because as good as Case 2-4 is, this digs deep into Phoenix's personal life and his relationships. As effective as the kidnapping of Maya Fey was, it wasn't something that Phoenix himself felt directly, other than the fact that Maya was the one who was involved. And as good as all that stuff was, there's something about what happens in this game that reaches a whole another level. I've also said that the spirit medium stuff does have an impact, but it's been kind of slight until Case 2-2. This game is where it really starts to take shape. And not until Game 6, the Spirit of Justice, does it come back. So this is the last hurrah for a lot of the spirit medium stuff, the Cyclops stuff, all that good stuff that they've managed to make a very serious issue, but they take it very far with this. And I give them a lot of credit. But if you've been sticking around for the first 2 games, once again, I do want to thank you. The way it's going to work is I have a spoiler-free guide with me, so I'm not going to give anything away. I'm going to have piece by piece, point by point, what I need to do to make sure that these videos go as the way they should, so I don't fail. There are occasions where I misplace something and get stuck, or, my phone turns off and I gotta spend time looking at it, but, those are small and minor, so the hope is that everything just works out the way it's supposed to work, and we do what we need to do. Another thing that I enjoy quite a lot about this game is it brings Mia Fey to the forefront. She's been kind of a background player in a lot of cases, but she's still an ever-present threat. This is the game where she returns to being as big a deal as I think she is. So much so that we even get to play as her for 2 cases. But we'll start with Turnabout Memories. How did I get into this mess? Why? Why'd I do that? That girl. You shouldn't see her anymore. Hey, it's none of your business. I'm telling you for your sake. If you continue to see her, it's gonna be bad news. You're lying! Look, just listen to me. There's something you need to know about her. Stop it! Don't talk about her like that. God damn. It wasn't me. I didn't. Oh. I didn't do it. Only her second trial? Sheesh. Well, it's finally time. kind of nervous. Oh, Mr. Grossberg, good morning. Oh, Mia, please calm yourself down. You're going to get yourself arrested for suspicious behavior. What are you talking about? I am relaxed. Look at me. I'm relaxed. Let go of my lapels. You've obviously got the temperament to be... haven't got the temperament to be a lawyer. I'm sorry. I'm just so nervous today. No, that's right. This is your first time in the big leagues, isn't it? Well, never fear. I'm Marvin Grossberg, at your service. Actually, this is my second time in court. Still, you surprised me with your earnest request last night. Let me handle this case, you suddenly said. And quite forcefully, too. I just found out about the case, so... And you already learned the relevant facts? Well, about that, of course I have, I think. Oh, dear. In any case, don't let your client see that you're nervous. You see this poor young man in the pink sweater? That's our client. Oh. No, I am not going to do fake cough. I want to do fake coughing noises, but that would drive me nuts. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Just try to keep smiling. I just want to say I'll give it all I've got. It'll be fine, no problem. What's wrong? Do you have a cold or something? Actually, it's right. Like the Flying Brothers. People screw it up all the time. And yeah, I have got a cold. That's what the mask is for. My doc says this way I won't give it to anybody else. Be kind to others, he says. Right. Well, you have nothing to fear in court today. If you're truly innocent, I promise to save you. Please, let go of my shirt. Ah! That's right. He's the one on trial, not you. He's the one who should be nervous. Just stay strong for his sake. Come on. My name's Mia Fey. I'm still pretty new to this whole lawyer thing. First time I appeared in court was a year ago. But that trial traumatized me so badly, I never wanted to set foot in another courtroom. It's been 1 year since then, and, well, I'm here again. But this time, I'm going to win. For my client and for myself. Court is now in session for the trial of Phoenix Wright. The defense is ready. The prosecution's ready, Your Honor. The defense today is Mia. Miss Mia Fey, was it? Yes, Your Honor. Is there a problem? I was under the impression that Marvin Grossberg would be leading the defense. Well, Mr. Grossberg had a bit of an emergency. An emergency? Well, isn't that him standing there? You're just a rookie. Are you sure you can handle this? Don't let him scare you. Get your toughest look. Of course. I think. Look, she's got Tifa Lockhart vibes with that look. She's gonna be just fine. Well, Mr. Payne, your opening statement, please. Well. I can't believe a veteran like me has to spend time babysitting a new defense lawyer. Don't worry, little girl. It'll all be over soon. What was that about? Was he trying to trash talk me? If he was, it was a terrible job. Now then, I'd like to proceed with a summary of the events of the day in question. The incident occurred on Ivy University's campus. The murder victim was a student named Doug Swallow. He was a fourth-year student studying pharmacology. Sounds like he was a very bright young man. Yes, well, next we have a photo taken at the scene of the crime. Students discovered the scene shortly after the murder. They found the victim's body, and the defendant, who had obviously bungled his getaway. Then they called the police. That certainly makes him look suspicious indeed. Very well. The court accepts this photo into evidence. By the way, I can't quite tell the cause of death from this photo. Your reputation for sagacity is well reserved, or well earned. The truth is, the victim died a rather unusual death. Unusual. What do you mean, Mr. Payne? Well, perhaps the defense would like to take this question. A simple question. I thought it might loosen you up a bit. I am a genteel man, if you will. Oh, what? Show me what you're made of. A perfect opportunity. Now, what is it? The cause. Go on. Please say you know at least this much. I didn't get a chance to read through the whole file. My hemorrhoids are acting up. I don't need to... Now, see here. The details of this case are filed under the court record. But you knew that already, didn't you? The court record? Yeah. Fatal electric shock. Yeah. All of the weapons we need are found in the court record. Take a good hard look at the data and think before you answer, my dear. Yes, sir. Can't let the prosecutor get the better of me. Court record, okay. Now then, would the attorney for the defense please answer this question? What was the cause of death? According to the court record, it was fatal electric shock. Electrocution? How could such a thing happen? Did the murderer use some type of new, super powerful stun gun? The answer to that will become crystal clear as the trial proceeds. But before that, there's one more vital issue. Why, motive. Apparently, there was some bad blood between the victim and the defendant. Bad blood? What do you mean? Oopsies, terribly sorry. You're the defense attorney, so you must know all about it. I should be stealing the spotlight like this. I really don't like his smug attitude. That's Winston Payne for you. He's a smooth operator, if you catch my drift. They don't call him Rookie Killer for nothing, you know. Now then, let's hear the defense. What was the source of bad blood between the victim and defendant? And this time, I'd like to see supporting evidence. No need to get all worked up. As I said, all our weapons can be found in the court record. Find the evidence you need and then shove it in his face. Yes, sir. Mr. Grossberg tried to set a better example. Evidence is the only thing in the court record. People's profiles are as well. You can toggle between profiles and evidence with R1, so give it your all. Now then, let's see what you've got. What was the cause of bad blood? Yeah, that would do it. Yeah, I love the fact that somebody else gets to do the thing. The reason for the bad blood was this woman. Dahlia Hawthorne, is it? Very good. You seem to have picked up at least that much. This woman is the girlfriend of the defendant. But up until 8 months ago, she was with the victim. Clearly she had some part to play in this story. He's done it again. Before the cross-examination starts, he's already got the judge thinking what he wants. If it pleases the court, the prosecution would like to call Mr. Phoenix Wright. The defendant himself. Well, that's fine. After all, if he's innocent. The defense has no objection. Very well. The court calls Mr. Phoenix Wright to the witness stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation. My name's Phoenix Wright. My job is, well, I guess I'm a suspect. No, he means what you did before you got arrested. I was a university student. Mr. Wright, you understand that you're suspected in the death of your fellow student. I didn't do it! I'm innocent! I'm telling you, I went... Would the defendant please refrain from passing on his cold? Seems the witness has something he wants to say. Well then, please tell us about your relationship with the victim. Right away! Yay, new music. I was there. But I'm not a killer! All I did was find his body! I hardly knew the guy to begin with. I never even talked to that stuck-up British wannabe. Hmm? So you hardly knew him? Right, like I said, I'm not a killer. It looks like the judge understands. Murph, you're being naive, you know. Too naive. Seems you've forgotten one small thing, young lady. This witness still has to undergo something known as cross-examination. He's right, and the defense's duty is to carry out cross-examination. The purpose is to determine if a witness's testimony contains contradictions. Contradictions! I said contradictions, I swear! If the witness is lying, the statement will conflict with the court record. But he's my client. Even if he's your client, all lies must be struck down. As a lawyer, that is your duty, you see. What does he mean by that? Is he saying this testimony was a lie? Contradiction? Now then, you're at cross-examination, Miss Faye. Tell me you haven't been lying. You wouldn't do that to me, would you? Oh, man. The way she says it, it's just so earnest. Okay, fourth statement, added fifth statement, crime photo. Okay. 2, 3. Mr. Wright, you stated the following in your testimony. I hardly knew the guy. That's right. I mean, why would I... But that doesn't sound right. If you hardly knew him, then why would you say that the victim was a stuck-up wannabe? Well? With me, I'm not a killer, I swear. I'll give you an opportunity to revise your testimony. How is it you knew the victim, as you put it, a British wannabe? Well, he was always walking around with a huge Union Jack on the back of his shirt. Are you certain you saw this? I'm sure. I mean, it was right there on his back. Miss Faye, is there some point to this line of questioning? Your Honor, please take a look at the crime scene. As you can see, there's absolutely nothing on the victim's back. Wait a minute! He's wearing a jacket. It was on the back of his t-shirt he was wearing. I was under the impression you accidentally came across the body. But if that was really the case, you wouldn't know that, would you? You have no idea what he'd be wearing underneath that jacket. Mr. Wright, you've been lying to me. Please forgive me. Aw. You made our client cry. Let him. That P on his chest doesn't stand for Phoenix anyway. I can't believe I trusted him. He's all wrong. That was quite impressive, making your client be a little bitch. Thank you for uncovering the defendant's lies for me. It's quite clear this man didn't simply stumble upon the scene of the crime. Uh-oh. Did I go that far? By the way, Mr. Wright, you seem to have a rather bad cold. Have you taken any medicine for it? I took some, but with that medicine for you an over-counter brand called Cold Killer X. Yeah, that's right. Kills colds good. Wait a minute. How did you know I'm a big fan of that? Would you happen to have that medicine right now? Actually, I seem to have lost it somewhere. He lost it? Does this have anything to do with the case? Mr. Wright, shall I tell you where your cold medicine is right now? Your Honor, I'd like you to take another look at the photo. What's this? It's Cold Killer X. But even I've got a bottle of it in my apartment. I'm sorry, but I'm afraid that argument won't work. There's no doubt as to the bottle of Cold Killer X belongs to, especially since his fingerprints are all over it. What? Seeing his murderous intent, Mr. Swallow must have picked up the bottle of medicine dropped by Mr. Wright and held it in his hand. His purpose in doing so was he could identify the killer as Phoenix Wright. Order! Your Honor, I'd like to present this photo and bottle as evidence. Oh. Oh. Also, the victim's wristwatch is broken. It ceased functioning with a large wave of electricity passed through it. Well, Mr. Wright, do you have any explanation for this? This is bad. Oh, my buttocks, my poor emerald. Stop mentioning that, please. I would just assume you don't. The truth is, I went because he called me. He was in the pharmacology department, so we agreed to meet at 2:45. We talked for a bit, and around 2 or 3 o'clock we split up. Then later I went back and I found him lying there. I'd been taking Cold Killer X for the last couple of days, but I lost my bottle of it around lunchtime. Mr. Wright, that's completely different testimony. I'm sorry. I was afraid you wouldn't believe the truth. You'll forgive me if I say I hardly find your current testimony any more credible. Miss Fay, please begin your cross-examination. Don't tell any more lies. Okay. Alright. Second and third. Alright, second and sixth. Oh. Was it Mr. Swallow indicated that you should meet at 2:45? Yeah, we were both right there on time. You said the victim was in the pharmacology department, correct? Yeah, he was studying how to manufacture and improve pharmaceuticals. Everyone called him the alchemist of IVU. An alchemist, I see. I gotta admit, it was a little suspicious. He had a whole laboratory and everything. It was filled with chemicals and strange machines that run on high voltage. Fascinating. Sounds like he was quite an ambitious young man. Oh, I do. I was wondering if you could tell us a bit more about the pharmacology department. Okay, sure. I don't know all that much, though. A little bit earlier in your testimony, you said something interesting. You said that the department uses strange machines that run on high-voltage electricity. That's right. They sure look dangerous. They use non-standard voltages, so there's high-voltage cables everywhere. High-voltage cables. Yeah, there were electrical poles set up around the building. The high-voltage cables run overhead around the roof. Finally, I think we're getting somewhere. Alright, 3, 4... on the day of the incident, what did you do for lunch? Huh? What does that have to do with anything? You can never be too sure. Well, I always eat with Dolly, just the two of us. Dolly's homemade lunches are just the greatest. Her mini omelets are magically delicious. Why did you punch me in the jaw? Oh, I just felt like hurting somebody all of a sudden. Ouch. I think that's enough for now. Please refrain from slapping your own defense attorney. The defendant and the victim met at approximately the time of death, and then the defendant returns to the scene for some unknown reason. I'm not entirely convinced by his explanation about the bottle. Let me be frank. Your testimony cannot be trusted. What do you mean? I knew it was too much work for a little girl. However, there's one mystery that still remains. There it is. How the murder was carried out. Just how was the victim electrocuted? I don't believe the murder weapon has been produced yet, correct? Well, you're correct. How exactly was he killed? If I could somehow establish it, maybe I could come out with this smelling like a rose. Your Honor. Yes, Miss Fay? I believe if there was if we were to piece together everything we've heard up until now, we should be able to solve the mystery of how Mr. Swallow died. That would be most impressive. Quite a brash statement. But even a beginner like you must understand the basic rules of this court. An attorney must be able to substantiate arguments with evidence. Of course I know that. I totally forgot. Now then, Miss Fay, let's see what you've got. Show me what you believe how the victim was executed and electrocuted. As for the cause of death, I'd say this picture captured it quite well. What? But there's nothing about it that remotely resembles a weapon. I'm afraid the defense is going to have to explain it in more detail. Where exactly in this photo is the murder weapon? Well, naturally, it's right there. A severed electrical cable, I believe. Remember the testimony we've heard. It matches the pharmacology student use in their experiments require high voltage. And because of that, there's a special high voltage cable strung up everywhere. So the high voltage cable was the cause of death. That's the most likely explanation. That certainly sounds plausible. Well, Mr. Payne, what do you have to say about this? Well, I believe some praise is in order. Don't toy with me, old man. Now, the victim's cause of death may have indeed been a high-voltage cable. However, I want you to think about what that really implies. The only one who had the opportunity to use said cable was the defendant. That much is certainly true. And that's not all. We have proof. Irrefutable proof that will establish that he was the murderer. You do? Well, what is it? His fingerprints. You mean the defendant's fingerprints were on something besides the bottle? Let's take another look at that crime scene photo. As you can see, the victim's still wearing a leather jacket. As you may know, leather holds fingerprints quite well. Hooray! I remember that from Case 1-5. I don't know if they developed it by the time this was made, but cool. You mean? Yes, it's quite clear that an imprint on the chest area of the victim's jacket was found. The palm print of the defendant's very own hand. What? I can only think of one way he could have left a print like that. Intent on murder, he squarely pushed the victim into the severed cable. That's enough. I think we can conclude there's no reason to continue with this. Stick a fork in us, we're done. My hemorrhoids never lie. Show's over. I knew that boy was guilty the first time I saw him. You're wrong. He's innocent. No further evidence is required to convince me of this man's guilt. At this time, I'm prepared to render a verdict. Hmm? Do you have something further to add, Miss Fay? Is that what you want? You still haven't told us the truth. The whole truth. If you don't say something now, the judge is going to hand down his verdict. But I can't deny it. If I told you what really happened, then it's okay. I'm your attorney. You can trust me. Miss Fay, no matter what it is you have to say, I believe in you and I'll represent you to the very end. We've already established the defendant's guilt. There's no further need for him to say anything. Wait a minute! Mr. Wright, I'll tell you what really happened. I've already told you there's no need for further... I did it. I admit it, I pushed him! It's my fault. My fault that he's dead. Oh, damn. What you just said, was this the truth? I'm afraid it was. Everyone would think it was the murder for sure. As things currently stand, we're absolutely convinced you are. Please, give me one more chance to explain. This time, I swear, I'll tell the whole truth. It'll be okay, won't it? I believe in you, Miss Faye. Thank you. Still can't believe it. You really did push the victim. Would you stop talking about your hemorrhoids, please? I'm getting annoyed here. That guy, he was talking bad about Dolly. I lost my temper and gave him a shove. At that moment, I heard some kind of loud noise. A little while after I left, I started getting worried. So I went back, but he was just lying there dead. Oh. Well, that explanation is quite simple. When you pushed him, Mr. Swallow flew back and touched the electrical cable. He died from the shock, and that, as they say, is that. The simple explanation indeed. At the time of the incident, a light rain had fallen. Wet from the rain, the victim was more easily electrocuted. But when I pushed him, there weren't any cables nearby. If there had been something like that, even I would have noticed it. That's true. Even a doofus like him wouldn't notice that. Wouldn't miss it. Let me warn you right now, if your cross-examination doesn't yield new facts, I intend to deliver my verdict without delay. Yes. No give up, Mia. If he's innocent, there must be some kind of evidence somewhere that'll prove it. Third statement, okay. A loud noise. What would you say it was? I'm not sure, but it was really loud. It was like snap. You know, I wonder what it was. Clearly, it was the sound of him being electrocuted. You're not qualified to decide that. What do I do? I'm treading on some dangerous ground. Mr. Wright, that loud noise you heard may be extremely important. So try to remember what it was. How do I put it? It's like a sharp crack? Could it have been... When I pushed him, he dropped that umbrella he was holding. He fell right on top of it and it broke. It was probably the noise I heard. An umbrella? Does it belong to the victim? Yeah, it was a plastic umbrella, cheap and frail. Kind of like his... Ouch, Phoenix! But then again, I wish I had any kind of umbrella. I was soaked to the bone. Miss Faye, what do you think? Is there something important to his testimony just now? This is it, Mia. It's new information you've been looking for. Of course it's important. Actually, that cheap umbrella is more important and it's vital. I want it officially entered into testimony. How perfectly fitting. Flimsy information for a flimsy lawyer. The court agrees with the defense's request. Please add that bit about your umbrella to your testimony. After I shoved him, he fell down on his cheap umbrella. Why didn't you testify that umbrella from the very beginning? Come on, if I'd mentioned that, I would have been able to counter the prosecution's argument earlier. What? What do you mean? Take a look at the scene. According to Mr. Wright, the victim fell on top of his umbrella. However, if we look closely, it's nowhere near the victim. It's by the electrical pole. You're absolutely right. The conclusion here is obvious. After the defendant left, the victim moved from where he fell. In other words, after he was pushed by the defendant, he was still alive. No! Order. The victim moved? Mr. Payne, the umbrella in the photo, where is it now? Well, it was collected by the police at the crime scene. I want it presented as evidence immediately. But the umbrella could have simply blown there by the wind. According to the testimony, the victim fell on top of it. There's simply no way it could have been blown there by the wind. I know this matter of the umbrella seems relatively trivial, but as long as the smallest doubt remains, I cannot render judgment. No! That's a good look for you. Chicken man. I must say I find it hard to believe that a huge hole has been blown in the prosecution's case by the defendant's testimony. Well done. What are you chuckling about? Pardon me, Your Honor. It seems I was expecting too much of a free ride. It was foolish to think I could establish guilt through cross-examination alone. I'm afraid I don't follow what you're saying. Let me guess. You have another witness. Exactly. And this witness's testimony is incontrovertible. And who is this witness? Miss Dahlia... Oh, crap. Dahlia Hawthorne. You mean Dolly? I do, Your Honor. The defendant's very own lover is a witness to the whole thing. That's right. She was at the scene of the crime when the murder took place. I'm sorry to break the bad news to you, my dear. Suave. Bad news? Couldn't be more wrong. Actually, I've been waiting for this. You can't be serious. What do you mean by that? I think this is a good point for us to stop at. We'll enter a 20-minute recess. Afterwards, we'll hear the testimony of Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. Oh, goody. Miss Faye, I'm sorry. It's all right. You told us the truth in the end. That's what matters. Yeah, I guess I can start to relax a little bit. Relax? You can't be serious. After hiding such important facts. But, next witness is my Dolly, right? She'll save me. I just know she will. Why do you think that? Huh? She's the love of my life, that's why. The love of your life, huh? Would you mind telling me more about you and Miss Dahlia Hawthorne? Sure, no problem. Dolly and I, we first met about 8 months ago, right here in the very courthouse. Actually, I'm studying to be a lawyer on the side. Well, anyway, one day, she and I just bumped into each other in the reading room downstairs. So I really think it was fate that brought us together. As soon as I first set eyes on her, I knew she'd be the one for me. Oh, take a look at this. She gave this to me on the day as we met, a symbol for our love. She had been wearing it around her neck that day, but she took it off, and before she gave it to me, she said, I want you to carry this. So she gave you that as a present. This darling little bottle's filled with memories of my darling little Dolly. Certainly is a little bottle, all right. It made me so happy. I show it to everyone I meet. I just want to share my happiness with the whole world. Try not to share too much. It could get spread everywhere like a disease, like your cold. Anyway, after that, you and Miss Hawthorne started dating? Well, yeah, but she's so shy. Every time I see her, she's always saying the same thing. Please give it back. What a strange girl asking for a present back like that. By the way, Mr. Wright, the day you first met Dahlia Hawthorne 8 months ago, wouldn't have happened to have been August 27th, would it? What? Yeah, it was. How did you... This happened on August 27th, right here in the courthouse. What's this, newspaper clipping? Let's see. Murder? What are you reading? Let me see that. Oh, I see. Mia, I think I understand what you're trying to say. And I think I understand why you took keen interest in this case. You believe there's some connection between the two, correct? I hope you don't mind, Mr. Grossberg. I need to finish this myself. Yes, but I'm afraid what you have will not be enough, my dear. I'll go have a look downstairs reading room and see what I can find. Thank you. I want to do whatever I can to help you. It looks like recess is over, so we better get moving. I guess so. That recess sure took longer than 20 minutes, though. Oh, God, this game is so good! But that'll do it for our first episode. And, yes, like I said, this is my favorite of the 3 games. And a lot of people like it, too. And part of the reason is you'll see why next episode. So, thanks for watching. Keep on watching. If you haven't seen all of Phoenix Wright 1 or 2, I would highly suggest doing so before continuing. But even not, this game will give you lots of information, so you should be good. See you guys next time.